Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Pajamas and Prosecco. Cheers. Not gonna lie, I am a little scared talking about this particular topic, but I would rather do it now than doing it at another time, to be quite honest. But today's topic is going to be like outgrowing friendships with friends and like within like family and stuff. I have had a couple of friend breakups, and as I've gotten older, they hurt a little less, but there are some particular ones that still do hurt. And I think the ones that hurt the most are like family ones, just because there was a point in time where you and this person were really close, and now they're like strangers to you in a way. And it's also very hard when people in that friendship don't realize that the dynamic has changed. So yeah, it's a sensitive one. Like, I was on the phone with one of my like best friends from high school before I started filming this, and we started going back and forth about like friendship breakups. And yeah, like they make me so like, I think they make me emotional because Lord, a version of you with that person is no longer you. Like, you know, you had to like grow up and do so much with your life, and like you have accomplished so much, and then a part of you is like, wow, like they don't see this other side of you. And then I think to myself, you know what, they were not deserving of it, because I'm a strong believer of if they wanted to, they would. In anything, in any type of relationship, if somebody wants to show up for you, if somebody wants to be there for you, they're going to be there. Even if they can't be there like physically, like they could just be there for you like emotionally. And like, yeah. Let's take a drink. Let's take a drink. Hold on. My self-diagnosis of ADHD might come out in this video. So this video might be longer than 10 minutes because I really do try to make them 10 minutes and shorter, because I know our attention span is not there, guys. I know it's not. So let me open up my notes, because I have notes. Like I have like my whole like, you know, my whole like thing. Okay. So, number 1, the reality of the situation is people do change, and that is okay. I never want to stop someone from growing and being the best versions of themselves, whether that is with me in their life or me not in their lives. I want everyone to succeed in anything that they do, because that is so important for just yourself, you know, like super duper important. So we do change. Like I say, if you're not changing, like you change your underwear, that's crazy, because tú te cambias tu panty todos los días. You change your underwear every day. Like every day you're just learning more and more about yourself. People move. People get in like their work lives, their marriage, kids, school, whatever it is that they're doing, you are bound to change, and that is fine. I have one of my best friends who has 3 kids, is in school, is a like full-time mom, full-time student, full-time teacher, full-time wife, full-time stepmom, full-time everything. And that girl still shows up for me, like no matter what. And I show up for her in whatever aspect I can. She does live a little bit further out from me, but anytime she has like big milestones in her life, like I show up because I want to be there. I show up for her. And the sad, like, I'm such a, like, I show up for those people that I love. And I don't even know if I can, like, do it through, like, this. I think I'm just gonna, like, talk, honestly, guys. Like, I'm just gonna talk. But, like, I'm the type of person that I show up for those people in any way that I can. And again, it doesn't always have to be physical. It could literally just be sending a text message and showing up for these people and being there. That's the type of person that I am. Any milestones that one of my friends that I'm really, really close to has had, you best believe we have pictures together because I was there. Like, I will always be there. Like, that's the type of person that I am. So it does hurt when you no longer have those types of relationships. I remember a couple of years ago, I flew from New York to California because at the time, my best friend moved to California and I was in full support of this girl doing that, living her life. I was there. I was her number one cheerleader. And I went to California and I was there for President's Weekend. So we had that like Monday off for President's Day. And I had left Thursday and left there like Monday night or something like that. And I spent one day, 8 hours with her, and the rest of the time she was working. And I would understand if she would have been like, hey girl, like, I just moved. I need to get my money up. Just know that, like, I'm gonna have to be working. But that's not the case. The case was, you told me that you were gonna have time for me. I flew across the country and we spent 8 hours together out of the 4 days that I was there. And that was like very like disappointing. And then like I texted you when I got home and you said, okay, thank you for visiting me. And I said, you're welcome, whatever. Like, I kept it very like casual, like neutral, casual. And we never spoke ever again. And that was hard. That was really hard because I was really hurt. Yes, I acknowledge you have to work. You got to get your money up. You have to do all of that. But it did hurt me because it was like, damn, like I flew all the way out there for you. And like, it was like as if you didn't care. Like I was your dog sitter, basically. So that one hurt because we were in our 20s. Like, you know, like it's just different. Then with like family, it has happened. And I understand that like people have lives and like all this stuff. I have my life and all these things, but I still show up for like my family, even though it's a lot. I get overwhelmed, I get overstimulated, all this stuff, but you know, it does hurt when the relationship does change and the person starts to feel like a stranger. And then when we're all together, it's like trying to make it seem like todo está bien. Which in reality, they're good. It's just that like there's a distance within us because there is no communication. Fuck, this is really hard because I don't know if people are going to be watching. Like, obviously, people are going to be watching, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, let me keep drinking. And like, I'm okay with it. I'm just expressing like that these things do happen. And, you know, we are not the versions of ourselves that we even were at the beginning of the year. You know what I mean? Like we do change and things like that. And again, that's totally fine. But I just feel like when people act as if everything is okay, and I feel like they act like everything's okay when it's a family because it's like, we're going to see each other. So, come on, Bella. We are going to see each other and things like that. Right? Fuck, this is like really hard because the thing is like, I love I still love the people that I'm no longer close to, right? So it is hard to talk about this topic. And that's why I was like, kind of like, oh, maybe I should do it now, because it is hard. Like, I still love and care about these people. But the thing is, the reality of the situation is that, like, when it comes to like family, our relationship is not the same. And yes, it takes two, but it does get annoying when you're like the only one that's actually like making steps. So then it's like when you like don't take the steps. Like I'm the friend that always texts first. If I don't text first, I do not hear from people. And like that's sad. And I would rather than not have a relationship with a person if I'm the only one that's giving in to the relationship, if that makes sense, because then it's unfair to me, because then I'm emotionally super more invested than other people, like, you know, and like that's really like unfortunate, but it is the truth. I remember me and one of my cousins, we grew apart for a little bit, and me and her, prima hermanas, like we were always together, everything, like we're a couple of months apart. Like that was my ride or die, okay? And we grew apart for a bit, and did it hurt? Yes. Did it allow us to grow? Because yes, it did. Because a lot of times when like you're no longer close to a person and like the driftingness starts to happen, like sometimes you don't have a conversation. And I think that sometimes, like I was saying, like the first like bit with my friend from high school, we never had like a closure conversation. I think that sometimes that makes it a bit harder because you want to know like more of like, but why type of thing. But me and her had a conversation. Me and my family are very emotional. Like we're so emotional. We were out. I'm not gonna give names, but I'm gonna like give like examples, and if they're watching, they're gonna know who I'm talking about. We're outside of a hotel in London. She had just met my boyfriend, and we went out. Me and her met up for like dinner, and my boyfriend met us, and then we went out for drinks, and then we walked her over to her hotel. And it was the first time in a very long time that me and her had like time by ourselves, because she had moved to Europe, and that's when like the distance started. And we hugged each other to say bye. And fuck, I don't know if this is like the Prosecco or like just me, but we hugged, and instantly she starts crying. And then like I'm holding back tears, and like my boyfriend like walked away for him to give us like our little privacy or whatever. And it was like at that moment that like the realization of like, wow, we live so separate lives now. It's crazy. And then like a couple of days later, I like went to like her like where she lives, and was there for her engagement. And a part of me is very glad that I was there, and she reassured me that she was also very glad that I was there. We talked. I was at her house, and we talked about everything, and like, you know, we had our moment, and it was literally beautiful. And we now have like a relationship again. But in friendships, sometimes you just never like, obviously this is my cousin, so it's different. And not to say that like there's people in your family that like if you don't want to speak to them, like you're entitled not to ever speak to them again. But I've never experienced a point of like, oh my God, I'm never gonna speak. No, I have, but like not with like one of my cousins is like an older person that I'm just like, oh, I'm not gonna speak to this person. But with like my cousins, like I love my cousins so much. So it does hurt when we're not as close as we once were. It does hurt. I would be lying if, and I, like, you know what I mean? Like, me being emotional about it is like a real thing, because I do care about these people, but also, like, I feel hurt by us not being close, and I feel hurt that I'm the one that always has to like reach out. You know, like that como que it doesn't sit well with me, because it's like, damn, you know. But yeah, it's just hard, and like growing up and like getting older and like like, you know, it, like with family sometimes it feels like, wow, if we weren't family, I wouldn't be friends with you, and that is like, whoa. But anyways, I love my family. They're a lot, but there are people that I was extremely close to that I'm no longer close to them, but it's nothing but love. Like, when I see you, I'm gonna give you love, all this stuff, but it's not gonna be like how it once was, because I have realized that like I'm the one that puts in more, and that's just unfair to me. And when it comes to friendships, I feel like as I've gotten older, it happens, like, you just outgrow people. And some people are placed in your life for a season, and some are there for a lifetime. And hold on to those friendships that you are going to have for a lifetime. But the ones that are just there for a season, they're definitely there to teach you a lesson. And you may not realize the lesson right then and there, but you're definitely going to realize it at some point. And I feel like that's what's important. But it's nothing but love at the end of the day, as hard as they are. You know, I wish anybody nothing but the best in your own growth, in your own path, in whatever it is that you're doing. But for me, myself, like, low-key kind of glad that I like saw certain things, and I can like make my own decisions on like whether I want this person in my life or not. So yeah, cheers to that. I started rambling, but I feel like I was making valid points. Y'all let me know down below. But that's episode 3 of Pajamas and Prosecco. Bye.